Hi Sagittarius, how are you? Welcome to your April 2017 love reading. It's Raina here, your fellow Sagittarian. And so, what is happening for you in April? The only thing that I wanted to say to you, no, not the only thing. I'm going to say a couple of things to you. First off, Venus, for the first few days of the month, will still be in Aries in the 5th house retrograding. So the 5th house is a love house. It's kind of like your love affairs, the first blush of love before you have fully committed to the person. And then it goes into your 4th house of home and family. So I could see some people, let's say, I'm not endorsing infidelity, but let's say you had some kind of an affair and then you think, wait, do I really want to give up my family for this affair? Is it really worth it? And so it makes you think twice. And so that could be happening for you. And then you have a new moon that just happened. Well, as I am recording, it hasn't happened yet. So that's on March 27th. So actually that's before all of this happens. And I know that there will be a fair number of people who are watching in March. So that is why I bring that up, because that can be a time when you meet somebody new. And if you are already in a relationship or in a marriage or with children involved, then, that could be something you're reviewing. Like, do I really want to break that up? I have a good thing going. So just a few little tidbits about the upcoming energies that relate to love. I'm going to pick a clarification card. I usually just leave it at that. Okay. So, kind of like a little bit of my scenario. By the way, because sometimes this does come up, it's kind of funny. I'll get people that say, oh, this doesn't resonate with me at all because I'm happy with my man and we've been together for 20 years. And that was I remember I got that comment not too long ago. And I said, well, then why are you watching in the first place? This is for people who are either single or people who are having troubled relationships. If you are having a wonderful relationship, why are you waiting for the other shoe to drop and watching love readings? That in itself is something to question within yourself. Like, do you have a long history of relationships that have ended badly and now you can't trust that this is a keeper? So, yeah, I thought it went without saying that these are for people that are either without a partner or have a negative relationship. So that's why I tend to focus on the so-called drama. I'm not going to, what would be the point of me doing a reading? Everything is just peachy keen. That doesn't make any sense. So that's why I don't do it like that. And it's not trying to generate drama. It really is that things are happening, obviously, in people's lives. And in your life, it's funny because I was messing with the themes to try to get the light, and it seems like it's in slow motion. I don't know if this is going to come out differently when I actually when it comes out. It just seems like it's herky-jerky. But this is a card of a defensive posture. So you may be feeling in your relationship like you can't be understood by your partner for whatever reason. Like you're constantly under attack. And that you have to explain yourself, you have to defend yourself. In some cases, it could be that your partner is accusing you of doing something you didn't do. For instance, the big one, obviously, is cheating. It goes without saying that that type of relationship is not healthy if that's the kind of relationship you're in. The other thing to talk about is that this could be a fire sign person with whom you are having this battle. An Aries, Leo, or other Sagittarius. Either that's their sun sign, the moon, or the rising sign, or maybe they have some kind of preponderance of that. Maybe they're Venus and Mars or something going on, where they have that combative, fiery nature as part of their makeup. As a matter of fact, in the past position, we get a card that's associated with Sagittarius. So if that is the actual sign of the person, but this can be a card of somebody, I can only use the term that unfortunately bashes men, which is a womanizer. An affair. You may have had an affair with somebody. Maybe you thought it was going to be more than that, and it turned out that it wasn't. But somehow it's connected to a sense of feeling under siege. So maybe you did something like that. Maybe you went outside of your relationship because you felt misunderstood within your relationship. And yet that outside relationship was nothing more than a fling. Maybe you didn't think it was. Maybe you thought that it was going to be something more. Maybe the person misrepresented themselves. But now you're feeling like a trapped animal. This is the card of anxiety. You see the person's got their hands bound, sleepless nights, which is insomnia, I guess. Just, anxiety about the situation. And obviously in a situation like this, you may even feel trapped, like you can't go anywhere. Maybe you have children. Maybe you don't have the means to support yourself at the present time. Whatever, or maybe just you feel like for some reason that you have to stay in this situation. And when I see the Seven of Wands, even though the person is standing up for themselves, and this could be like you finally putting your foot down, and maybe in the past you allowed yourself to be victimized by this person. And it doesn't have to be physical abuse. It could be emotional, which is sometimes much more insidious because you don't even realize that it's happening until it's too late and you've lost every shred of your confidence. This person could be an air sign. The person that your partner is, your permanent partner, that maybe you have are having problems with. So this would be a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, because we get this again as a higher message. This can be somebody who is just very cut and dried. They tell things like it is. That doesn't have to be a bad thing, but it can be somebody who's insensitive, and perhaps that is what led to a lot of the problems, that they were just telling it like it is and hurting your feelings, and you felt attacked by them. Sometimes this can be a lawyer, so it's telling you, yes, it's time. It's time to get legally separated from this person. You've tried to make it work and it hasn't worked. You've stayed up how many nights and this person is not getting any better. And when I see knights, a lot of times this can either indicate their physical age, they can be below the age of 40, but it can indicate their emotional nature. They may not be very mature. They may have immature qualities and uncontrollable. What's the word? A lack of control in their behavior, their speech. And so this can lead to them hurting people's feelings, stepping on people's toes, and then scratching their heads wondering, what the other people are so upset about. And because it's below the Seven of Wands, this can be an aspect of yourself as well. You may be starting to speak your mind and develop more self-esteem to be able to, challenge the person that you're with. Maybe in the past you let things slide until you'd had enough and you've decided that you're not going to take it anymore. It can be a healthy thing if it's not, totally uncontrolled, if you're not going to do to you what was done to you, if you're not going to do to them what was done to you. Sometimes people hold it in, and then when they finally go to start to defend themselves, they get too aggressive because they have this pent-up energy from it. But this could be the person's emotional immaturity coming out in their speech patterns, where they say things before they think and they alienate people because of it. And, that's the unfortunate thing. They may have said something to you that you haven't forgotten. Even if they apologized, it might not be erased from your mind. You might think that they really did mean it. What is a challenge for you right now is represented by the Hermit in reverse. So in some people's cases, this could be not learning from your mistakes. This could be having a sense of false pride. This could be that person, though. It could be showing that person, and talking about this person, and I'm thinking it's your current partner, not the person that you may be infatuated with, but somebody that you have a relationship with that's problematic. And this person may be ignorant about spirituality, in the sense that they are living an unconscious life, and they are not seeing that they are more than just physical beings. They're just doing things in their lives and not connecting the dots. And as a result, they're hurting other people. They're like bulls in the china closet. They're not like they're not awake. They're not woke. They're very ignorant in certain ways. They may have a PhD and they're totally ignorant. So that could be also, by the way, a bone of contention with you as a Sagittarian. Most Sagittarians tend to have some kind of spiritual beliefs that that guide your life. And Sagittarius rules the 9th house of philosophy and religious studies and things like that. So Sagittarians tend to be philosophical and to live by a framework. And this person may not. This person may just bluster through life, may just kind of be clueless, and they make one mistake after another. and don't see the error of their ways. Or they don't value your spiritual beliefs. And so you may feel like, you're incompatible on that level. The advice, or what's coming in, is the Four of Pentacles. So this can indicate some sort of financial stability. If you were worried about leaving a relationship, you may have the means to do so for some reason, whether it's that you have a job that pays you a good wage, and it can lead to you being able to support yourself and maybe support children if you have to. It could be about a relationship that you develop, possibly with an earth sign that has a firm foundation. The earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The person may have one of these signs other than the sun sign, but they have a general feeling of being down to earth, not being pretentious, being possibly very practical, not necessarily being high maintenance, being kind of simple in their pleasures. And you may feel a sense of relief with this person, maybe with another. They may be not that emotional, more rational than emotional. You may have been dealing with somebody who was overly emotional, and that wore you down. Now the outcome, I did pick 2 cards, and one of them was the Five of Cups, which is associated with some sort of grief. It may simply mean that you have come to understand that you need to let this toxic relationship go. Sometimes it can mean that you are the one that is rejected by your lover. If you had hoped to form a relationship with somebody who you've been having like a fling with, even though you're in a committed relationship, you may find out that they're not interested in that, and then you connect the dots and see that it was just for fun for them and that they weren't interested in that anyway. But it could be that you're forced to face the truth about your marriage or long-term relationship, and you may be feeling sad about that, or the other person, you may be afraid that they're going to feel sad. The card that I picked to go along with that is the Moon card. And this can indicate, we are having a full moon in, let me see, now that would be your 11th house. Maybe this is dealing with that new moon, but I think this would be a full moon. What is that? We are having a new moon, a full moon in Libra around the 11th of April. And that is Sagittarian's 11th house. So I don't know if that is a time of any kind of movement in terms of you leaving or not. The 11th house is more dealing with friendship areas. So endings of friendships, not necessarily lovers. But it is interesting because whenever you have a full moon, that means that the sun is in the opposite sign. So the sun is going to be in Aries in the 5th house of romance. So maybe that is some kind of, that polarity plays into what happens. Maybe you decide to just remain friends with this person that you've had an affair with. And maybe that makes you sad because it's like the death of a dream. But it could have to do with your relationship too. Maybe you see the light. The moon, though, tends to bring, maybe it brings something to light about your relationship. But it can also be a time of deception. So maybe you're afraid or sad to end your relationship because you don't, maybe you're afraid to end your marriage, for instance, because you don't want to hurt the other person, and you don't realize that that person's been cheating on you for 3 years, and that's why they were treating you so crappy, because they felt guilty about it and they're trying to put it on you. I mean, I'm not saying that's happening, I'm just saying that's just a possibility, an example. So, because when I see the Moon card next to the Five of Cups, it's almost like mourning a loss when you don't have all the facts. You know, you're suffering about something where you may have been manipulated by the other person. And you may be feeling guilty about something that you shouldn't even feel guilty about. So it's very interesting, to say the least, Sagittarius. I was just thinking back to the last love reading I did for you, and that one wasn't very cheery. So I'm wondering if you think this one is a little bit better. Have you made any progress in the last month? Hopefully we have. And if you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a great April. Bye.